Hi, my name is Steve New and welcome to my channel, Steve's Film Vault. This channel is dedicated to everything DSLR camera, from photography to videography and beyond. I have been a teacher at the prestigious East Career and Technical Academy teaching video and photography for the last 10 years, and I've been in the film industry for 22 plus years in a former life. And I plan to bring that expertise and that knowledge to you in this channel. Whether you got the first DSLR camera you've ever owned, or you've always had DSLR cameras, but you never fully understood what all these functions are about. Understand it? Sure. I am going to basically break it down to very simple terms, so hopefully you'll be able to understand and get the most out of your camera. In this episode, we're going to talk about everything shutter speed. Remember earlier on we talked about how there are 3 elements that it takes to get a good picture. Well, 4 if you consider a light source. Without light, you're not going to have a very good image. But you need to have an aperture opening, a shutter speed, and sensitivity to the camera. Well, as we play with shutter speed, we're going to understand how that plays into the whole equation. If I go ahead and switch my camera to the shutter priority mode, we're going to talk a little bit about how this works. The shutter speed of your camera is the amount of time the shutter will open, allow light to come in, and close off again. Early days of photography, they literally would take the cover off the camera and count off minutes before they put the lens back on. A famous photo of a downtown street, if you notice there's no people, no cars on the street. How in the world was this possible? Well, the reason why is because, first of all, cars weren't invented. No, there's no carriages either. But what happened is those people and objects were moving so fast that the image was not able to capture those items in the image. However, if you notice down in the corner, there is a man, looks like he's getting his shoe shined. Because he sat in that position for so long while that lens cap was off, they became part of that image. Thank goodness in today's world we have shutter speeds that can go to thousandths of a second, or if we want those nice time-lapse images, we can open that up to go for 30 seconds or more. So we do have a wide range that we can play with that shutter speed. Now, there are a few things you need to understand about shutter speed. First of all, the slower the shutter speed, the more you will blur action that is going on. Also remember, if you are setting your shutter speed below a 60th, maybe if you're really steady, a 40th of a second, you're going to want to have a tripod or some sort of stabilizing device for your camera. We will be spending a whole episode on stabilizing cameras. I gave you a few tips on the very first episode. If you go back to that first one, you'll kind of see a little bit of that. But remember that you do need to stabilize if you get down too slow of a shutter speed. The faster the shutter speed, the better you're going to be able to freeze the action up into the point to where you can literally freeze even a hummingbird's wings if you have that shutter speed fast enough. So do I want to freeze action or do I want to blur action? It's really going to be the question you're going to have as you are setting up your camera. Also understand when you get the equation involved of the other 2 elements, the faster the shutter speed, the larger the aperture, and or the more sensitive your sensor. So remember, the faster the shutter speed, the more open the aperture needs to be, and or the more sensitive your camera sensor needs to be. The slower the shutter speed, the smaller the aperture, and or the more sensitive your camera lens needs to be. So playing with those other elements will help you understand how you need to set up your camera for that. Keep it in shutter speed priority mode. The camera will be doing the thinking for you on those other 2 elements, but it'll give you a chance to play with shutter speed. Take note, however, where is your ISO setting, where is your aperture setting as you play with that shutter speed dial. So I'm going to show you now a series of images that were shot of the same subject, same moving subjects, relative moving subjects, to give you an idea of shutter speed settings and different effects you might be able to get. With the slow shutter speeds, we are having some really nice blurring effects. With the faster shutter speeds, we are slowly but surely freezing that action to where it seems like the whole world is frozen around us. And there's different times you might want to play with those settings, such as running water looks beautiful and silky smooth when you are running at a very slow shutter speed, where it's almost freezes where you see individual droplets when it is running at a fast shutter speed. Traffic in the streets also gives you the illusion of blur. Now remember, as you practice on this this week, make sure that you keep your camera in the shutter preferred mode to be able to let the camera do the thinking for you on the other elements. I promise you, in a few more episodes, we will be getting to the point to where you can experiment with full manual and kind of see how that will work for you. Well, this is basically it for this episode. Remember, if you like this episode, give me a thumbs up. If you really like the episode, click the subscribe button. I have so much more coming your way, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Anyways, keep shooting, play with the shutter preferred, and I will see you next week.